And welcome to Flightdeck Live, powered by SportBuff, where if you go to sportbuffshop.com and use the code ALSFlightdeck10 at checkout, you will save 10% off your entire order. It's Tim Capper along with Cliffy D. Pine from Stad Telus here at PEPS on the campus of Université Laval for Saturday practice. To change from last year, it's Saturday practice, right?
Yeah, Saturday practice, definitely not a intra-squad game or scrimmage or anything of that nature, but that's just how they're deciding to do it this year. So at the end of the day, it's still another opportunity for these guys to get 1% better, to work out the kinks, to learn the playbook, to do everything that they're supposed to be doing. So it was still a very productive session, though.
Oh, it was. And for those of you who weren't here, again, it's starting at 4:30 p.m., but most of the day was head to head. Again, it wasn't a scrimmage; it was practice, but it was really a lot of heads to heads, and we got to see a lot of the new faces and a lot of the new numbers on how they were able to so far how they've adjusted so far to the playbook, and potentially who we're going to see on the field on Friday in Montreal.
Absolutely. So there's no referees, no, it didn't have any of the game day feel as they've done in years previous. But once again, still a very important opportunity for these guys to learn what to do and to make sure that they've got what they need to get done down pat. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, this was still very productive. I definitely liked what I saw offensively, defensively, even special teams too.
Mm-hmm.
I came away very impressed with what a lot of these guys have been doing.
And some of the things that we can comment, because people were here and they would notice, as an example, and you talk about those changes, potential changes or additions to special teams. When it comes to Devontae Dedmon, did not play today for whatever reason. Practice today. He didn't practice today. Surprisingly to us, we had another one of our new members of Alouettes Nation step up and take that spot for the day.
Absolutely. Friend of the show, Jarvis Stearns. He got some action in as kick and punt returner, which was definitely good to see. It was still Philip Brooks, though, that was doing the lion's share of it. And I got a feeling that he's, from what I've been told, there's a very good chance that we could be seeing him as the returner. If Dedmon's not able to perform in the preseason game, there's a very good chance that we could see Philip Brooks and I guess now potentially Jarvis Stearns getting some returns in as well. So again, another interesting wrinkle to the special teams that maybe we didn't exactly have, on our bingo card, if you will.
Oh, that's for sure. I mean, I can only imagine what our current bingo cards would look like just based off of today's camps practice. So, I mean, it's what else can we talk about here, Cliff? Because as I said, it wasn't a normal. It was a showcase day, really. Cliff didn't like me using that term, but I'm going to use it. It was a showcase for these guys during practice. That's the thing, because it wasn't your normal, typical practice. Considering what these guys came off, we spoke to a few guys after practice today, and they actually said, considering what they had to go through today versus what they had to go through the other day when it was just completely downpouring here in Quebec City, it was a wanted change for them. But you know what? It just seemed to fuel them even more, to get them even more tougher than they needed to be.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what these training camp sessions are all about. I mean, it's a chance for them to, for the veterans, it's a chance for them to show what they're able, what we know about them. I mean, certain guys, Davis Alexander is going to sling the rock. Tyson Philpott's going to catch, make an amazing catch. You know what these guys are capable of. It's these unknowns. And I'm not saying that disparagingly. It's just a simple fact that a lot of these guys weren't on the team. Hell, some of them were even on the team a month ago. So, it's an opportunity for them to showcase what they can do. So, yeah, okay. Even though I didn't want to call this episode a showcase, what we saw today, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be considered a showcase in the sense that these guys are able to present what they're able to do. They're able to show what their strengths are and what, potentially they need to work on as well. But, yeah, I came away very, very happy, very impressed with what I saw. And I think Alouettes Nation as a whole should be very excited of what you're going to see in the preseason game this coming Friday.
I will go and admit too, despite there being really no fanfare for today's practice other than just being a practice, quite a few people did show up along the same lines, I would say, as the ones that showed up on Sunday. It was nice to see everybody here. Let's also look at some of the minor modifications for today. Usually we have more than two quarterbacks who are playing in these type of practices. We had one of our quarterbacks on the sideline for most of the game, and it really was the Davis Alexander Dustin Crum show today.
as we've come to expect. I mean, Anthony Brown, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was. I have a hard time believing it'd be load management per se, because that's typically reserved for actual veterans. And yes, Anthony Brown has played in the NFL for a couple of years, so in the technical term, he's not a rookie, but at the same time, he's a CFL rookie. So
Yeah.
it would behoove him to be able to get on the field as much as possible. So I'm led to believe that there may be something not right. I don't believe it's load management per se, in the sense that you don't want to burn everybody out, because, quite frankly, it would be more Davis Alexander or Dustin Crum that would be, if they weren't playing, they'd be listed under load management. Whereas Anthony Brown, something's got to be up with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know how severe it is. I guess severe enough that he may just.
We'll find out. We'll find out. Yeah, because as I said, a lot of the guys today did not. There were a few guys that did not practice today.
Mhm.
Tyler Snead did not practice today. Tyson Philpott did not practice today. So as I said, a lot of load management for a lot of these guys. As I said, spoke with a lot of the guys post practice, and they were saying they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing no matter what coming this weekend. And it's funny. We're standing here. I think we've gone through everything. It's now raining. It's now raining here in Quebec City. So.
Funny thing is, we did bring umbrellas, but we thought we'd be okay. We thought we'd at least be able to get through Flightdeck Live before having to worry about the inclement weather. But that's okay. Listen, we're not made of sugar. I mean, we're sweet, but we're not made of sugar, so we're not going to melt. Let's talk about what we saw offensively, defensively.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that you wanted to point out too, specifically. I think to start off is defense, because the defense played very well today, whether it was Crum or whether it was Da behind center. But there's one particular play today that I know that you really wanted to spotlight.
Oh, absolutely. Again, another friend of the show, Najee Murray, had an absolutely beautiful pass breakup against Davis Alexander. And I even spoke to him afterwards about that. And, you can see a big smile on his face, like, okay, yeah, I want to let him know who I am. I'm like, I think at this point, everybody knows who you are, Najee. But I love the fact that there's no taking plays off. There is no slacking, anything like that. Like, as far as he's concerned, he's fighting for a job too. I personally think his job is more than safe, especially being the longest serving member of this Alouettes defense. However, he doesn't have that mentality. He doesn't have that mindset. He can't rest on his laurels. He's going to go out there and he's going to ball out. And he's got to show it too for a lot of these other youngsters on the secondary. Don Callis as well. Like, he was a part of that pass breakup as well. But at the same time, there's a couple of times where Callis just didn't. I don't want to say he got burned necessarily, but I mean, he had to work for everything, and that's good too. I like the fact that he's obviously not afraid to do the work. I mean, he's got a lot to prove as well. Like, last year, he came in as a rookie, and I think a lot of the hype around him was more about the fact that his last name has a funny sound in Quebec. Now it's about, okay, you know what it takes to be on this team. You've been to the Grey Cup. You got to watch the Grey Cup up close and personal. You want to be a part of this. You want to be on the field, though. You don't want to be on the sidelines, in your civvies. You want to be actually out there wearing your uniform and doing it. And it's plays like what Don Callis did today that are going to help make sure that he does get better, that he does get a chance to showcase what he can do. And I got to tell you, that defensive play alone, especially against how Davis Alexander has been doing in camp, and we'll talk about that momentarily. For Najee and for Don to have that incredible pass breakup against Davis Alexander, QB1, QB fun, to be able to do that was absolutely tremendous.
Now, I feel you're kind of bearing the lead, but it was great to bring up that. We also have to talk about, as you're saying, defense really did seem to be in mid-season form. Talking about the almost pick six by Mustafa Johnson.
Ooh, oh my word! I mean, now
we were talking about how Davis's touchdown pass went viral yesterday on socials. If this was taped, this I think it would be a second place to it, but this was just beautiful.
I mean, we know Moose. He's a big boy. He's sturdy. He's stout, but at the same time, he got some air. He snatched that Dustin Crum pass out of the air, like it was like the Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi with the chopsticks and the fly. Like, got it like that, and then damn near took it back to the house. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, we were concerned about Mustafa because of the injuries and all of that. When we had him on the show, he talked about how he was feeling good. He was ready to go. I think that was proof positive that Mustafa Johnson is ready to go.
Yeah, and as we mentioned with the show last week, it is a brand new beginning. It's also a brand new beginning for a couple of endings too. So it's good to see, as I said, if this is a new beginning for Mustafa Johnson in this 2026 season, Cliff, coming in healthy like he is, I can only imagine what it's going to be like for the rest of the season.
We know that this defensive line is the heart and soul of this team. And like Dan Machocha, all the moves he's made to date, a lot of them have centered around this defensive line and making sure it is one of, if not the best in the Canadian Football League. And just making sure a healthy Mustafa Johnson is a big part of that, alongside of Isaac Adeyemi Berglund and Lawal Ugulak and Josh Archibald. I mean, like these guys too, they've been tearing it up. They've been making some incredible strides as far as their progression, as far as their work goes. Like I said, this defensive line, I mean, everything about this defense so far has been clicking very nicely. But this defensive line, everybody, everybody's paying attention to that.
Yeah.
As a result of this, but for Moose to be able to make a play like that, just almost out of thin air, absolutely tremendous.
Yeah. We're talking about offense and talk about DA, talking about Crum. I know we wanted to mention them today. Obviously, at the very beginning of practice itself, DA just seemed to be on. It seemed to be the DA that we know of. There actually is a pep in his step, not having to worry about. There's no actual. It seemed to be any lingering effects from because something again. If you were here at camp last year, you did notice there was this. Before we found out it was the hamstring with Davis. This year, that's not the case. Davis looks good. Dustin Crum looked good today. I mean, and just seeing how sharp and how crisp that these balls were thrown today. Obviously, you can't just talk about you can't talk about Davis and Dustin without talking about the receivers. And let's just talk about what we saw today.
One thing I came really impressed away with Dustin Crum, like his escapability, his ability to move outside of the pocket, is definitely very sharp, which we've come to expect out of Dustin Crum. Like from his time with the Ottawa Red Blacks, you sort of know what you're getting with in that regards. But to be able to see it with him doing that in Montreal colors, that's very reassuring. That definitely shows that okay, we're getting the good Dustin Crum as far as I'm concerned. And I gotta say,
getting the Crum back Crum.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. There was a couple of runs, a couple of design quarterback sneaks that, well, not really sneaks, but they were option plays, and managed to scramble for 20 yards. I'm like, okay, that's the Dustin Crum we know. We've gotten used to in the Canadian Football League. So to be able to see him do that is just what we expect. But I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about not one, but two absolute dimes to Tariq Owens.
Yeah.
I mean, my word. I mean, we talked the last week about Tariq Owens and what we saw in a very small sample size, but just to chip off the old block as far as I'm concerned. But you could tell that he doesn't want to just rely on his father's name. He wants to really make a name for himself. Tried to do it in the NFL. Now he's trying to do it in the CFL. I think he is someone I am definitely looking forward to seeing in honest to goodness game action. But even what we saw today was definitely very, very encouraging.
And obviously, we'll be able to see these guys one more time because we will be here for Victoria Day practice on Monday, and do stay tuned also for Flightdeck Live following that practice before we finish up our stay here in Quebec City. Any other thing we want to talk about here, Cliff? As I said, it wasn't the normal type of practice that we're. The day that we've been used to over the past couple of years, with it being inter-squad day, which not being. Any other thing we want to bring to light, talk about?
Honestly, when we talk about special teams, Jose Matos Diaz.
Yes.
I mean, what more can you say about the guy? But
I'll say he tied his team record today in practice, and as you said, it would have been at least good from 65.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he had the leg for it. I mean, he did brick one, and I'm like, okay, try to work the kinks out. But yeah, 50-yard field light work for him, as we've come to expect out of Jose Matos Diaz. But Michael Horvat, the other kicker that was drafted by the Alouettes in the Canadian football or the CFL Canadian draft. Gosh, that's turning into a tongue twister. Did it have to be?
Yeah.
But Michael Horvath as well. A couple of nice kicks as well.
Yeah.
Definitely showing. I don't want to call it a competition per se.
No.
But at the same time, if God forbid something does happen to Jose Matos Diaz, you want to be able to have that backup ready to go. And that's the thing. And Byron Archambault, special teams coach for the Alouettes, he also made sure that all of the kickers, all of the punters were ready to go. And when their number was called, both Joseph Zima and Jack Burgess had some absolute moonshots
into the wind on top of that.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like the wind here, the reason why we're not on the field is because the wind does swirl around here, and we didn't want to affecting our broadcast like it did last week. But being able to kick into the wind, I can only imagine just how difficult that must have been. You'd never know with these guys because, my goodness, like a couple of the punts that they had, to the moon, Alice.
Yeah.
To the moon.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, we'll be here for the practice on Monday. Hey, if you can grab the via train or whatever, come up and watch it. It'll be a 2-a-day starting at 8:30 on Monday. The team does have a day off tomorrow. It's headshot day, media day for them. They gotta hopefully be able to be celebrating after tonight's NHL game. I think there's supposedly a thing in Montreal tonight. Supposedly, I mean,
apparently they got some big things happening. I mean, the Montreal Victoire also got a win, so shout out to them as well. So, you know what? If the girls can do it, I think the guys can do it too. So let's hope for it's a perfect 2-0 once again for Montreal hockey teams as they continue on their quest to become championship teams.
Exactly. So again, if you miss any part of this, you can watch it on our archive. You will be able to hear it on our audio portion also in a very short period of time. But other than that, we will be speaking to you on Monday. So for the last time here at Stade Telus at PEPS on the campus of University Laval, for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.